Imagine that tomorrow you wake up and you lose all your freedom. Yeah, you still have human rights, but you don't really matter. And worst of all, you can't have an opinion.
That's just like having an itch on your balls and they tell you that you can't scratch it. Fuck that. Right?
Right.
Welcome to the Dumb Podcast, where we're going to be breaking down barriers.
And scratching ball sacks. We don't have a lot of time, folks. And we're going to be doing this together, so get ready, cuz
Here we go!
Nice.
That was good.
That's very good. You gotta leave that part in there, too. It said nice.
Yeah, you do. And then everything after, so everything I'm saying now.
What up, y'all? My name is Don Adrián Sarmiento Dario del Paso Norte por la tierra de Chihuahua Juárez. Or you can call me Don Dario. Hello. I've got here my trusty sidekick and confidant, none other than Mr. Alex Snooza.
It's Souza, actually. I'm just as Mexican, I'm just not as obnoxious about it. I am from Orange County, California.
Welcome.
Hence the white. And where are you from?
I'm originally from the great Chuco town, aka El Paso, Texas.
El Paso. You've been to the OP, right?
We've been to the OP. That's right.
I've never. I'm not my scene, but
so he says. Anyway, we are comedians from the Phoenix area. With obviously too much time on our hands.
That's true.
Why we started this podcast is because I originally wanted to start this to talk to my kids in the future. A lot of things I can't say to them now, but there are a lot of other people in this world that can benefit from this podcast. So what we're talking about here is just changes, you know? Everything's changing right now. Things are changing in my life, probably yours. Things are changing all over the world. I'm not perfect, and you know, I have a big mouth. Sometimes gets me in trouble.
At the OP.
Like the time at the OP,
yeah.
Right. But yeah, you know, it being the same as everybody else is not a thing that people do anymore. And I say, do whatever it is that makes you happy. You know, if you want to fuck that fat guy at the gym, fuck him, you know? If you want to get a tattoo, but you're really, really, really dark, get it. It's gonna look great.
You got another one?
Well, yeah, if you want to get your penis surgically hollowed out, shoved up your pelvic cavity, just so you can say, lick my cunt.
Oh!
Do it, people. Live your lives.
There it is.
You know? Whatever makes you happy, do it. Change is good.
Wow. The C word count is at 1. Ding!
So far, Casey's not gonna like this.
No?
Yeah.
Who's ready for the C word?
Nobody is.
Nobody gets ready for the C word. You don't live your life, okay, I've reached, AARP age. I'm ready for the C word.
You never get, it always stabs you a little bit. It's like
yeah.
violation.
Absolutely. I mean, imagine an old person saying the C word.
I think change is good. You know, we all try to become a better version of ourselves at some point in our lives, don't we? I know I'm trying. There are a lot of things about me that I would like to change, but one thing that I do know about myself is that I don't like to conform to social pressure. I like to take and study the topic and, you know, convince myself that I can be persuaded. And that's exactly what we're doing here at the Dumb Podcast. It's going to be a comedy podcast about professional development and personal growth. And those are all ways that we can experience positive change, right? I wanted to start this podcast because I think and believe that we can go through this and anything in life with a healthy sense of humor.
Absolutely.
That being said, let's move on to our weekly topic.
Dun, dun.
So today we're going to be talking about freedom of speech, all right? Now, freedom is justice, all right? Sometimes when we're chasing justice, there are some freedoms that get erased, all right? We got to be careful with that, all right? It's kind of like the attorneys, it's kind of like our legal system, right? There are attorneys out there that liberate killers, you know, whether they're killers or not. Some can be found not guilty, you know. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Is it OJ?
Maybe.
Orenthal James
Dude,
Simpson?
do you know they had like one of the best rushing records before all that happened?
Actually, no, I do know that.
How?
Because when I was a child, the very first book I learned to read was the NFL rule book, okay?
You did?
Right after was an almanac from like 1970 something for sports. And I saw this guy on like 14 games in a season. He had over 2,000 yards. This guy is great. He's awesome. He's wholesome. He's fulfilling.
And he used to hurdle all those chairs in the airport. Dude,
Yes.
OJ can run.
He can run.
And he's proved that with the cops and everything. So,
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
I guess that's true.
So yeah, my kids, you know, they wanted to know about the OJ case.
Mhm.
They're like, well, what happened? Why is this? Who's OJ? You know, and I had to tell them, you know. But like, what do you think kids nowadays would like to learn about OJ, besides his great rushing record?
I don't. Facts. Now, I remember, you gotta think from generations. Like, our grandparents had OJ as this god on the football
Right.
field.
Yep.
Our parents had OJ in the murder, or the trial of the century.
Right.
And then we had OJ. I mean, he wasn't as famous, but we had him
Stealing his stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Whether you think he did it or not, I don't think a murderer should get off with nothing, but I also don't think you should get 1,000 years for stealing your own shirts.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, you know, what my kids, I was actually part of that generation that got to see OJ.
Right. And you watched
in
the
his
car
truck.
chase.
I watched the car chase going down the 405.
Hey, 405 and 91.
91, 405.
That's right.
What? Stuck in traffic.
I don't know how he...
How did he get past traffic?
Well, he had all those cop cars following him, and usually to avoid traffic, you have the cop cars in front of you.
Right.
So I don't know.
How does that even work?
My uncle and his friends were off the 91, and they just lived right off the freeway, and when they were watching it on TV, he drove past, well, AC Cowlings did, and they ran out and they were cheering, because nobody knew anything at the time.
Yeah.
They're cheering, go, Jay, go! Go, Jay, go! And
Well, my kids wanted to know about that because they wanted to know why people were cheering.
Yeah.
You know, I believe that it started even before OJ. You know, it was with Rodney King. There was just it was just heated in LA. There was so much going on there racially. There was so much tension that when the thing with OJ happened, it was just people were cheering him on because they were upset,
sure.
you know, with the police.
And it's a great tie-in to today with everything that's going on.
It's happening again,
Um,
or still.
Yeah, and OJ, you could look at the case and talk forever about it, on how they won, and you could talk about the racial sensitivities of LA at the time, and I mean, you can just go on all these branches off the tree and talk for hours on end about it, but there is no taking away his greatest rushing season in history, or his Heisman. Give OJ his Heisman back
Yeah.
so he can sell it for money, because I'm sure he's broke.
Or he'll steal it, all right?
Oh.
Cut your head off.
Whoa!
All right, we can
Oh,
probably
gee.
cut that off. We can cut
Whoa!
We'll cut it.
Again?
We'll keep cutting.
You
And then just keep cutting this.
He's
over
on a roll.
from the side to the other side.
See, that's why I didn't want to go into it.
Dude, I mean, I kind of experienced, you know, it wasn't exactly to that, you know, magnitude of running away from the cops, but, you know, some prejudice recently. with Old Betty, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yeah, Old Betty's his car that I sold him.
Yes.
Got into an accident with Old Betty.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Old Betty.
She's so great.
She didn't
but
deserve
this
it.
guy attacked me. He went into the median and then rammed me on the side. And
Really?
the cop ended up taking his side, and I was the one that's giving a ticket. Now, this is what I'm saying. If I was to go chasing justice, all right, that would mean I'd have to erase some freedoms of his, all right? So I couldn't do that. All I have to do is eat it, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's a tough. I mean, the worst part about getting rear-ended is when it happens outside the car.
in the bedroom. I know.
But tell the people how many miles Old Betty has.
Old Betty has $350,000.
$350.
But I'll settle out of court for 40 in a jawbreak.
See, the mechanic said she's gonna go 500,000 miles.
Dude, she's gonna go 1,000,000
They just don't
miles.
make those cars like that anymore.
She's a good car.
She's damn good.
She's very good.
Thanks for plugging Betty.
Yeah, old Betty. She's sexy and great. So I wanted to talk
This is leather. I'm not farting.
Oh,
It's the leather.
yeah, there's no leather.
But-
It's all cloth. So I wanted to talk about, freedom of speech and how important it is to me, because I was born in America. I was bred to believe in freedom of speech and not censorship, all right?
Sure.
But yet, as I was growing up, I was censored. I couldn't say certain words. I wasn't allowed to, of course, cuss in front of my parents. But it went to it was crazy restricted, because I couldn't even say the word stupid. I couldn't call one of my sisters or my brother or my sister stupid. I could call them dumb. I couldn't tell them to shut up. Now that I grew up, now I just let it free. I let it ride. I let it flow. Until I had kids. When I had kids, again, I'm censored. Hence why I needed to start a podcast, just to get it out. But yeah, did you ever have any kind of censorship growing up as a kid?
My parents were kind of absent, but they introduced me to a life of crime. Drugs, alcohol, prostitution. It wasn't all fun. But no, I mean, when they were there, it was always just a respect thing, because we saw our grandparents on both sides a lot, and I come from a Mexican background as well. And I think that's very important to our heritage, is respect, especially for your elders.
Yep.
Besides my parents, but so it was always just there was never any cussing around the house. I mean, you'd hear it on TV. My parents would rarely cuss when they were there. Anybody I lived with would just rarely cuss. I think what you kind of look at when you have little kids too.
Yeah.
But I remember being like 9 and saying, "What the heck?" And I was like,
Yeah.
looking around.
Yeah. So when I decided to have kids, and my
Don't
kids.
sound too excited.
It was a surprise to me. It was all a surprise. Well, I kind of jumped into it, and my kids were not allowed to say anything like that. So they would say S for shit, or F for fuck, but they would never say F, because then they would get in trouble if they said F.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was happening. I just thought people had a different code of the alphabet.
I still say like with the H.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not one for
For
curse words.
Oh, you are a Catholic, aren't you?
No, I'm not
That's
a
right.
Catholic.
We gotta get you into a life insurance policy.
What are you, Mormon?
No.
More men?
More man than woman for
I
now.
don't disagree.
Hey, don't make fun of my boobs. Alright, so that is our weekly topic for the day. Unless you have something else you want to say from freedom of speech, I don't think so.
No.
I think we covered most of it.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think just like anything, there are some rules.
Right.
You don't have complete freedom of speech or action.
Very right. That brings me to one thing I wanted to say was saying, and freedom of speech is one thing. actions are completely separate.
Sure.
And I'm sure there are tons of comedians who know what that feels like.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Keep it at your mouth, not in your mouth.
To an
or other
extent.
stuff.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
See, that
you know
is,
what I mean?
yeah.
It's just other, that's it.
That
Don't
was
put it in other
quite
people's
explicit.
mouths. But, just saying it is fine. All right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, we're both comedians. We are going out to a open mic tonight.
Yes.
So this is another thing I wanted to do on this podcast, is kind of let you guys know how we are making changes in our life. It's new to me. I started about 2 years ago. Alex, how long have you ever done an open mic? Are you a comedian? Are you? What?
I read poetry one time
Okay.
at an open mic
5th grade.
in the shower. I've dabbled. I mean, I used to give speeches. I've given speeches to 2,000 people. I've given speeches to, 1,000 people, 500 people, intimate speeches, and I was on The Price is Right.
Well,
So,
there you go. We'll
really,
see you next time, folks.
The credits just keep
Come
going.
on down.
Yeah. But
So, when was your first experience at an open mic doing comedy? What was that like?
my first experience at an open mic doing comedy, we roasted a local comedian here, Arizona Lou.
That was your first time?
Yeah.
At AZ Lou's?
AZ Lou.
Roast?
When we roasted him. He had
Shout out to AZ Lou.
fantastic jokes. I enjoyed your roast.
Oh yeah, he gave me a joke. That's why he's saying that.
I really enjoyed
Okay.
the last
Good
joke
job.
that you told, specifically the one about a check bouncing. It
That was my
very
first
funny
joke.
and clever.
It was
was
my
it?
opener, and you gave it to me. So
Oh, well, it was very
there,
clever.
Credit.
Very clever.
All right.
So that was my first time, and I didn't know how I did, and I was like, who the fuck turned on these lights? And I was like, who the F turned on these lights? And I was just up there, and I'm like, can I hear laughter? Is that because the fans are going on in the back? I'm like, is it blowing it back? What's happening? And anyways, so that was my first experience actually going to do comedy. Now at the speeches, I would write jokes and tell them. So yeah, I'm not a regularly touring comedian like you.
Well, I'm not touring yet,
Oh.
but we like to have fun. I started comedy 2 years ago, and the way that I started, I mean, I called up the club. I said, what are the details about the open mic? They said it would be 5 minutes. I planned. The first thing about starting comedy is you gotta write, right? A lot of people that think they can just get up on stage, be funny, and wing it, and they fall flat on their ass, which is completely fine to do at open mic. But I think you should come prepared. You should write. You should practice, right? You can record yourself, video or just audio. And you never know where you're gonna start writing. That's gonna be the hardest thing, is what do I even talk about, a lot of different ways that you can start out there. You can read a book. The best way to do it though is just to go out and do it.
Yep.
Find out. Yep. Just try it. You're gonna fail. That's part of it.
When I first went to go watch people who would do open mics, I would see them bring their phones, notebooks, stuff like that, and then they would, tell their joke and read off it. And it used to bug me at first. But that helps you so much.
It does.
I mean, because if you go out there and you got the biggest balls in the world and you don't bring any of your material, I've seen it too many times where they go up and then they stutter over their jokes. They look into the audience and they just wasted 2 minutes just forgetting what they were trying to say.
Just forget.
You're not that good yet. Nobody is.
Nope.
So, all the tools that you have at your disposal, bring them.
Use them. That's right.
And you do just have to go for it. I've waited too long. I'm 45 now, and I just got to get up there and do it.
You should get up there and do it. We're gonna do it tonight.
That's right.
Speaking of that, we're going to an open mic hosted by our good friend John Fletcher.
Fletch,
What up,
man.
Fletch? He's gonna be hosting tonight, so he said we can go up if we're ready,
Nice.
which I think I'm gonna do. That is going to be at El Charro Hipster Cafe. So we'll see you guys there if you can make it.
John's a great host.
John's awesome.
He's like a nice Ellen
with long hair.
With long hair
and a bigger beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They both eat
a lot. They both eat a lot.
Yes.
And
healthy.
And John
lays
down a lot.
John does
he
lay
was
down
laying
on top
down
of ladies.
Yeah, he likes to lay down on a lot of ladies.
Yeah.
In his act, he's got this part where he actually lays down on the disgusting stage that other comedians have.
He lays on the stage.
With his face down in it.
Oh, in the midst of a pandemic?
Yeah, it's like he's asking for COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, wash your hands, by the way, people. Don't forget to wash your hands.
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask. Stop being disgusting, all right?
Tip your servers.
If you go out, all right, tip. All right, if you're broke, okay, if you don't know how to find the remote in your couch anymore, if you're that dumb, you're broke, and you stink, just stay home.
Stay home!
Who wants you?
There's nothing anybody wants from you when you go out. If you come to the club, I promise you will be roasted.
Yeah, there's nothing for you out there, all right? Stay home.
Oh, people bug me.
Yeah. You know what the best thing, though, about having these masks is? Is that you can just talk shit right behind it.
Yes.
Oh, right to their face.
And then if there's like a group of you and they turn around like, who's talking all this mad S about me?
Yeah.
And then it's nobody knows because everybody's wearing a mask.
Because everybody's wearing a mask, that's right.
You look a lot better with a mask too.
Yeah, this is my time to shine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what sucks about wearing a mask?
You can't suck.
Burps, man. You know, whenever you used to burp, you used to taste it. It was fine. But now, you inhale it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's offensive.
Yeah.
You know.
Every time I put the mask on, I feel like the Gimp from Pulp Fiction.
Well, it's gross because, like, what if you just had, you know, fish tacos for dinner or your girlfriend, and then you burp?
What?
It's like, ugh. It's just offensive. How did I start comedy?
Yeah.
Why did I decide that I could possibly do it?
When? Let's start with the when. How long ago was it?
When I actually got up was 2 years ago, but I remember even before that knowing that I could. So I've always been a big fan of comedy. A lot of comedians, my favorite people. But I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and I was working at Beverly Hills. In Beverly Hills was this huge gala, right? And I was working it, wasn't attending it, was working it. And it was my responsibility to speak in front of the entire audience at one point. I was a financial aid director at the time, so it was for a company that was in couture fashion, and they were putting on a gala and a fashion show. They had reserved the front seats for people who paid. It was mostly the students' parents. Well, they forgot to rope it off. So it was my duty to go up and tell everybody in the front row, and actually everybody in the whole audience, to get up and move one row back. We're talking about Beverly Hills, California, people. All right?
What I'm trying to say about this.
They did not want to move.
I'd be pissed.
I asked kindly. I explained the situation, and I let them know, you know, these were reserved. We unfortunately didn't, you know, rope them off. We apologize. I just asked everybody if everybody could please stand up and move one row back. Nobody moved. All right? And what did I do? I couldn't believe it. And I let them have it. You know, usually people try to be nice again. I said, no. I said, really? None of you are moving? I asked nicely. I explained everything to you, and none of you are getting up and doing it. Thanks a lot. They all moved right after that.
Yeah.
They all started moving. So I saw the power in just letting it go, you know, in front of anybody, in front of everybody. I think Adam Goldberg was there.
What?
Anyway,
The
so
plug?
he was in the audience, and I met him that night, and I didn't even care. I just let them all have it. I don't even know if he was in the first row or not. But Adam, you deserve to be in the first row, buddy.
Very nice of you.
Sorry if I yelled at you. So yeah, and then I became a trainer for another company and just putting on, trainings for 40, 60 people in a department. And I would freestyle some jokes here and there, and they would get some laughs, and I got the bug, as they say.
Yep.
So then I started doing open mics about 2 years ago, and ever since then, I love it. But it's a lot of failing. That's why we started this, because you fail a lot. You got to learn how to get back up. We're going to show our man Alex over here how to do it tonight. So I had something to ask you, though. You say your first time was at that roast of AZ Lou. Your friends set you up one time in California to go to open mic, didn't they?
Yeah,
What was that about?
They all went and signed me up at a place in Costa Mesa. And I had gone, and I went early, and you had to be... I had a whole set written too, and I still think a lot of the jokes hold up. But...
Were they about OJ?
No, they were not about OJ. It was about, like, the beach and...
Oh, nice.
Because people in Costa Mesa are...
All about the beach.
They're about the beach, and they're just a very Costa Mesa-in people. But anyways, so I got there, and I got there early, and you had to be there. Comedians in California, when there's an open mic, I guess they get there 2-3 hours early.
Dang.
And it goes by in order. Now they signed me up, but what the hell does that do if I'm not there, right? So I got there Sorry, your bookshelf?
Yeah, you're hurting the couch,
Yeah.
dude.
I'm sorry.
Your elbow is right
Oh
in
my
the
gosh,
fireplace.
is that leather?
It's right in the fireplace.
Oh, you still have the plastic on?
You're gonna get burned. You're really gonna look like a Mexican.
Oh my gosh, that's a real fireplace?
Yeah. See this?
Wow.
Beautiful.
What a nice...
You doing comedy, you can have a place just like this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Foreclosed. Yeah, so comedians in California, when there's an open mic, you gotta get there super early. Apparently I was on the unknown when it came to that, but...
It still is.
So, yeah, I was 18 then, and so that just never happened. I had the jokes, and I told them at work, but...
Oh, so it never went through. They
No.
set you up, but you never went up. So your first time up was
Too
at
late.
AZ Lou's?
Too late. Yeah, my
Wow.
first time up, actually doing comedy. Now, there's been speeches and stuff, like I said, that I've told.
I've seen you cry.
My first time, I was in a TV productions course at junior high school, and it was 2009 in June, and the teacher was this old, very Ben Stein from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller. Like that, right?
Kids.
Very by the book, so everything was like, turn to page 112, and we will be discussing, Ethernet today, right? So he was just like that, and I remember he said, Alex Souza will be the anchorman today, and his co-host will be whoever. And so we get up to read the news, and I'm like, okay, so here's the headlines in the news, and he said, by the way, a special occasion today, we will be going live. He was very, old, Walter Cronkite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jowls.
Jowls was just very, very tired and bored, and oh yeah, absolutely 100% a virgin.
Make America
Yes, essentially just like an English bulldog if you were a human.
Great.
That was actually too good.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Grab him by the pussy. Sorry. What?
That is
Make America Great.
Vagina Pseudonym number 2.
That's right.
So yes, he's like, we'll be going live today, and I get up there, and the first thing I say is, over the weekend, or I forget, it was over the weekend or something, legendary entertainer and king of pop Michael Jackson has passed away at the age of 50. That's very sad, Evan, he really touched me as a kid, and then this is what I see. No, stop the broadcast.
And it was live?
Oh yeah, it was live. It was the first time it went live and everything. I mean, the joke went over all the kids' heads.
Oh my gosh.
But the teacher, no, stop the broadcast. And he's like yelling at nobody. Nobody's there. There's no red button you can push and just yeah. So that was my first like, okay, I can get a reaction from telling a joke.
Yeah. And that's what got you stuck.
That's what got me stuck. Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, welcome.
Thanks.
It's nice to have you. And we're going to both work on that. If you guys want to leave a voicemail for the Dumb Podcast, your opinions, whatever it is, any questions you may have, you can call us at 602-935-7307. All right? Or you could send us an email at thedumbpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you all for being here today. Hope to see you next time. Have fun.
Stay safe. Live your lives. We'll see you next time.
Peace.